sometimes on boxes you can see the little dots inside the packaging that show which colors were used to print the box. That's what these are all about. And we're only going to use these for one assignment. So what I want you to do is I want you to use one of the boxes and I want you to write no on it. Look how it's like backwards for you in the camera. I want you to write no on it, and I want you to put the primary magenta, primary cyan, and primary yellow in there. And I want you to keep this. This is for, I think it's assignment 7. That's where we'll use those. So keep that aside and separate. Okay. Things that I hope you have. I hope you have a compass. So this is my compass left from Art 110. A protractor, and you may want a pair of scissors. But these two, we'll need these next week for when we do a color wheel. So if you don't have them, get them. They're cheap things to get. You can get them from Amazon, probably super cheap. So again, compass, protractor. You need these next week. I couldn't get them into the kits. They weren't able to get them for the kits, but you should have this already. You may not have one of these. Get one of these. And of course, good to have a pencil or design pens, something that you can use to do your layout with. Okay, I want to look at the first assignment, and this is what I had you guys print out. See these color swatches? See, you get to read it in reverse on the screen. Isn't that great? So, as I mentioned, every little square has the formula for the swatch that you want to put in there. And so I just follow, it says LY, and I look down here and it says lemon yellow, and so lemon yellow is what's going to go in there. And you follow those across. And if you have any questions about these, I want you to post questions about specific assignments in the discussion area on Canvas. That way, when you ask a question, if it's been answered, someone else has the same question and can see that. I'm going to show you, though, with one of the darker colors so you can see it better on camera what I want you to do. We'll look at sky blue, and that's SB right here. And what I want you to do, first of all, what I don't want you to do is use much paint on this project. You're only going to use a tiny amount of paint on this project, like that. I mean, it's blue, so it looks like a bigger blob, but it's not much. What you're going to do is just scrape a little bit of this onto the knife, and you're going to come over where it says sky blue, and I want you to take the knife, and I want you to make a thick area, and then I want you to put the blade of your knife down, and I want you to scrape it out. Like that. So what we've got up top is mass tone, that's where it's thick, and then down below is undertone, and that's where it's thin, and we can see the light come through. So I want you to do that for every single one of these formula. And on this assignment, I'm not worried about it being perfectly in the lines or anything like that. We're just practicing mixing up color. For later assignments, and the reason that we have tape, for at least the first half of the class, we'll be required to do hard edge painting. And the reason for that is I don't want to have expressionistic devices happening when we're trying to just study color. So I don't want to be trying to make expressionistic works of art when we really just want to bear down on color. So I'm going to teach you about painting without brush strokes, how to make perfect edges, all of that sort of stuff, because I want you to, first of all, like I said, be able to focus just on the color, and second of all, I want you to have a practical art skill that comes from this class, in addition to all the color knowledge, the design and art skill of being able to paint hard edge, isn't taught anywhere else. So this is where you're going to get that. So I had sky blue. The next square was ultramarine blue, and we'll dot that. And do the same thing with the ultramarine as I did with the sky blue. A thick area and then a scrapey thin area. Look how different those two blues are. That's interesting, right? Look at this. Somebody says blue, you gotta start saying, well, what blue are you talking about? So that's blue, and that's blue, right? Let's look at some of the others too. Here's scarlet red. I'm going to put that over here with the sky blue. Crimson red. Look how different those two are. They're not different shades, right? We know that they're not shades, they're not different tones, they're not different tints, they're different hues of red. The yellow is probably the most dramatic difference between the two. See how bright that is? Okay, so I've laid these out in a specific way because I just want to quickly tell you about color temperature. Hold please. So everything over here, these are cool colors. Everything over here, these are warm colors. And it's not a scientific thing, but the way you can think about coolness and warmth is whether or not it feels like it has sunlight or moonlight coming out. So we might say that these cool colors kind of feel like they have a whitish moonlight in them. And the warm colors feel like they've got a warm sort of sunlight in them. So that's warmth and coolness. And we'll see with the color wheel that these sort of point different directions. And we can start to say things about these colors. Like I could say that this blue is redder than this blue, and maybe this blue is greener than this blue, or maybe this red is more bluish, where this red is more orangey or yellowish. This yellow is greener, and this yellow is redder. Those will be really obvious when we start to do the color wheel. So that's color temperature. So these are all cold, and these are all warm. You can see the backwards lettering. Cool, warm. After that tangent, back to the homework we're doing. I've got sky blue and ultramarine blue that we started. And The next square is for us to mix them together. And when you're mixing color, what you're doing is you're squashing and chopping. Squash, chop, squash, chop. And you want to get the color completely mixed together. That. And then what we have here is the middle ground between my two blues. And what we've got is a more neutral blue that isn't really warm, isn't really cool, it's right in between. And so that's what I would consider the true primary blue. So I'm going to do that same thing and get this into its appropriate anyhow. That's all. Be sure to write me questions in the discussion area. Otherwise, you can write me questions by email, anything you need. Take care.